Hi, welcome to installment 2 in my beginner's guide to dirt jumping here on the channel. If you haven't seen installment 1, I'll link it. It's very high level. It just sort of goes over what a dirt jumper is, why it's different than other bikes, and then what a good process of starting from nothing to learning how to jump, like what that sort of facility might look like. Basically a rundown of what to look for if you're like very new, you don't know where to start. This installment, however, is going to focus on the 3 first tricks that I think are appropriate to learn. Everybody's gonna have a different opinion on what they think the first 3 tricks you should learn is. I've seen some beginner guides where they're like, bar spins, tail whips, no foot cans. For me, I think 3 tricks that are appropriate to start learning as you're beginning dirt jumping is an XUP, toboggan, and a tabletop. So the idea here is I'm obviously going to show you those tricks and I'm going to break down how I learned them. Hopefully you can take away something from it. If you don't have a dirt jumper and these videos are getting you interested in getting one, Bikes Online has the Polygon Trid dirt jumper on for a great price. Pick that thing up for a great price from there. It could be your dirt jumper for like, honestly, eons. They last forever. So, because it is late November and we've kind of been getting a lot of rain in the last little while, we're at a concrete skate park, which is good because it keeps us from undoing all of the hard work that we've done to get Mount Edwards to where it's at now. There's no point in like riding it and rutting it and making it terrible. There's also the added benefit of talking about learning tricks with a flyout. See, this hip quarter pipe section here just has a big flat top up here. You can just kind of use these quarter pipes as a launch to land somewhere flat. You don't have to worry about like landing into a landing, which can be daunting, a little bit scary. So that is our flyout feature for today. If you can find something similar to this, you'll be in good shape. Because it's the first trick I ever learned as a kid, we're starting with XUPS. I think XUPS are kind of the nicest trick to start with because you're not taking any limbs off of the bike. There's not much to think about. All you're really doing is turning the bars to a point where your arms make an X. Just little by little, you can easily track your progress by looking down as you're learning them, and you'll know when you've got them. When your 2 elbows basically touch, you got it. A little roll in here should give us plenty of speed to get up to the top of that flyout. Let's give ourselves a little XUP try. So hopefully you can see this in this shot, but typically what I'm doing when I do an XUP is come out of the jump, sort of level out a little bit, and when I level out in the air, I'll sort of straighten my legs out to give my bars some space to come around, and just turn the bars and then bring them right back around before I land. There is a bit of a hack to speed up the learning process on this, which is exactly what I did as a kid, and that is pull up XUPs, like pull up manual XUPs. I would just kind of roll around the neighborhood, lifting up my front wheel, and just pull back, knees straight, and go over little 2 ways like this. I remember my first BMX competition, that's the only trick I could do, and I didn't win. But eventually you get so used to that you can go up a flyout, do a little XUP like that, and you get so comfortable with them that you can just kind of like pop them out anywhere. Okay, the second very beginner-friendly trick that I think you should learn is toboggans. One hand off on the seat, bars turn, and then you just kind of try and dunk that as far down as you can. And you might think that sounds a little advanced, but there's a thought process behind this. You might think like, hey, maybe a one-hander is a better like beginner trick. But what I've noticed from people trying to learn just simple one-handers is they get a little bit nervous to take their hand too far away from the bars. And if you start trying to learn toboggans, you actually have a target. You'll know you're making progress when you get that hand from the bar to the seat. Every time you do that, you get more and more comfortable with having that hand just a little further away from the bar, which is more than I could say for what it feels like to do one of those. It just kind of floats around. You don't know what to do with it. Give yourself a target, put it on the seat. Up the flyout, grab the seat. So, up the flyout, grab the seat. Now, as you're getting comfortable with that, what you're gonna wanna do is just get comfortable with getting that butt out of the way a little bit. And what that's gonna do is bring the saddle forward and give you a little bit more space to grab the seat. And actually, as you start to let yourself get back a little bit and grab the seat, kind of the hand instinctively will pull the bar back. Pushing the bike forward, making the seat more accessible to grab, pull up into yourself, and get that toboggan. And then, if I'm honest, this trick's actually easier to do into a landing. When you have something to land into, it just gives you way more confidence to really let the front end come down because you know you're gonna land into it. But what I like about toboggans is it kind of unlocks that hand to go wherever you want to go. So if you want to do like a tire grab, you want to do toboggans, you want to do just a one-hander, or just as a base for being comfortable taking some limbs off in some tricks that you're going to learn later on. Okay, and finally, the trick that honestly looks the easiest, but is definitely the hardest to teach, and the one that I've definitely seen people have the hardest time wrapping their heads around, like, what am I doing wrong with? And that is tabletops. You watch someone do a table, you can kind of instinctively understand maybe what to do. You know you just want to flatten the bike out in the air. So that ends up being the main focus and kind of the only focus. And kind of a lot of times it ends up looking like this. And the culprit to that is this top knee of the trick. You're trying to force the bike to go flat. You're just concentrating on making it happen however you can. But really what you should concentrate on is just slowly getting this knee to kind of push everything out of the way. The center of this knee should be trying to drive towards the ground. And that'll keep both knees together and you'll start to get this look instead of this look. Focus on this knee going over the top tube and just folding everything into yourself. Even just a little turn bar with your knees together is a much better start than trying to pancake flat the bike with your knees miles apart. That's not the direction you want to go. Knees together, start turning those bars, start driving that knee over the top tube, and that's going to slowly flatten the bike out more and more. Now, you're going to see dozens of different styles of tables. Me, personally, I like to kind of curl up into a ball and get right into it. Everybody does it a little different. Whatever feels comfortable, that's the way you're going to do it, and that'll be your style. And slowly but surely, as you continue to improve your tabletops, you'll get used to like your foot dancing around on the pedals, just so that the bike can move freely under you to get the table as, you know, tucked or as flat as you kind of want it to be. Make sure those knees stay together. That should be your main takeaway. Knees together, keep cranking them, drive that knee through the top tube. So those are my 3 recommended beginner tricks that I think you could reasonably learn as you begin dirt jumping. And the best part about them is they're timeless and they just continue to improve as you do them through the years. And it's kind of fun to have tricks like this that become these like dialed things that you have that you can throw in to like dirt jump trails or trails that you are completely comfortable with, and you just kind of want to add that cherry on top. You're already having fun. You just want to like icing on the cake, throw a trick in where you can, where you want. And it just adds this like 10% more fun. 90% of the fun of dirt jumping is really just getting through the line, flowing it, and just riding it kind of fat, maybe pulling back, trying to go a little higher. And then the second you start throwing tricks in, while it's not important, just adds that little je ne sais quoi. And try not to get too discouraged if after watching this, you go try them and the tricks aren't immediately coming to you. Just keep trying, make sure you're having fun while doing it, and don't get too frustrated. All right. There was some other dirt jumper content requests in episode 1. But if you have some, leave it in the comments below.